Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is the Sunday, the 2nd of January 2022. Happy New Year to each and everyone, everywhere, all over the world. Uh, Today's video, I decided to call it The Return of Mecca. And that might sound very strange, but let's see why I called that. Okay, recently there were few conferences. One of them is about um, the changing climate all over the world and the rising of temperature. Whether this is uh, due to human activity or not, that's not me to say. However, yes, we have to admit that there is a change of temperature. Could it be a cycle? It happens every few certain number of years. I don't know. It could be. Uh, could it be due to human activity? It could be. I don't know. But that is not for me to say. Uh, However, that takes us when most people believe the rise of carbon in the atmosphere is due to the usage of carbon, and the most usage of carbon is petrol, oil. Who is the area that the most sell oil is the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Iraq, Iran, all this. So the people who produce oil, they are not stupid, especially the people on top. They are aware that there's changes, and they are aware that already there are steps to change that. The cars now, the new cars, practically they make it very economic on the usage of gasoline, so they make the engine as small as possible, so and it's as efficient as possible, so it wouldn't use so much gasoline, especially that the price of gasoline is high. So that's number one. Number two, there are many companies are actually taking the trend to move away from uh, burning oil to electric cars and electricity now. Whether you agree with it or not, there are many ways to produce electricity, whether it's through solar cells or wind or ocean waves or what have you, also nuclear power. So there is new trend to stay away from oil and use different type of fuel or different type of energy. All countries, oil producing countries, are aware of that, and they are aware if they don't find a solution now, they will be left behind. And that's why we see a country like United Arab Emirates is changing their economy, diversifying their economy, making their economy more dependent on other things, whether it's tourism, fishing, agriculture, what have you, which is good, okay, because oil will not be forever. So, um, because of that, Saudi Arabia also is changing trend. They don't want to be left behind. Okay, so they did few steps, and we spoke a little bit before about the festival that it happened in Saudi Arabia of fashion, and the people who are coming to exhibit fashion, they are not coming to put burqa and head cover. They do their fashion as they are used to. And when Saudi Arabia, the Saudi government opened to that, that's a huge step. Furthermore, there is also a going on festival going there. It is called Middle Beast, Beast, Beast. I don't know why they call it Beast. Middle Beast music, which is Western music, and the people there are dancing, the Saudi people dancing, and they are wearing regular clothes. They got rid of that, uh, whatever they call it, Islamic attire. They got rid of that. So the leaders of the country, they are aware of the changes, and there are statistics, and I'm sure they are aware of the statistics, although they don't talk about it. But they know very, very well that in Saudi Arabia, most people, they are not Muslim. They are just culturally Muslim because they don't want to be branded as heretics and lose their family, lose their jobs, lose their future. So culturally, they are Muslim. But reality is, Saudi Arabia is changing dramatically inside, and many people left Islam. They don't say it out loud because they know they can lose their head, they can be murdered, they can be killed. They are the government, the Saudi government, they know very well that many people either became Christian in secret, Jews, they actually converted to Judaism, and some became atheist, some agnostic, and so on and so forth. And only the shell, Saudi Arabia, stands as a Muslim nation. However, in the real essence, most people left this nonsense. Okay, because of their awareness that the oil is on its way out and the Islamic culture is on its way out, they know that. So they are taking steps to modernize the country, and they want to change. But again, they have to make it in steps. They cannot suddenly if you remember, if we remember in 1989, when in China, the Chinese young people, they were really excited after the fall of the Soviet Union, and they wanted to also change from communism to become an open society, a democratic society, and they just took to the streets. And the Chinese government, Chinese communist government, in Tiananmen Square, they murdered, we don't know, in the tens of thousands to avoid that. Why? Excuse me, because it was a sharp turn, and China is a huge country in terms of number, population. And to do that, even in the Soviet Union, when this happened, the mafia really murdered so many people. They took over so many things. They stole, they raped, they did so many atrocities. I don't know if I'm not saying what the Chinese Communist Party did was right, but it would have been even worse. I don't know. That what happened, and probably the Saudi government knows very well that that can be the case also in Saudi Arabia. They will face chaotic situation, and therefore they decided to take it one step at a time. So we see that the festival of fashion, music, and opening the country to other cultures and other people, and that idea that this is an infidel shouldn't enter Saudi Arabia because he is Christian, unholy Christian, or unholy Jew, or unholy atheist. That trend of thought only 11 years ago, before September 11, 2011, 2000, I'm sorry, 21 years ago, Saudi Arabia was teaching in elementary school the little kids in first and second grade, to teach them math. It was like this: one machine gun plus one machine gun equals two machine guns to kill the infidels. Two hand grenades plus two hand grenades equal four hand grenades to kill infidels. That was 22 years ago. I'm sorry, because now we are in the year 22. No, 21 years ago. 21 years ago, because it was 2001. 21 years ago, that was the education in Saudi Arabia. How to look at non-Muslim. They ought to be killed. So they teach the little kids from a young age, we are to kill the non-Muslim. 21 years later, we see that trend had turned 180 degrees, and the reason is they know they cannot continue in that nonsense that they were teaching before, even though if it was Islamic. It's nonsense and it had to be stopped. And I wouldn't be really surprised at all that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia does not believe in that Islamic stuff. But he has to wisely walk his steps carefully until he changes the country. He cannot admit it. And in my opinion, I really don't think he believes in this nonsense. Okay, but he cannot say it out loud, because that when many people will turn against him and he could be killed. Okay, but I don't think he believes in it. So we see that number one was the petrol. They know that it's on its way out. Second is the culture. The culture that it was robbed from the people of Mecca and this region after Muhammad invaded Mecca. You see, he was from Mecca, and when he started to insult the people of Mecca and their gods and their faith, they didn't kill him, they didn't crucify him, they told him, get out of here, enough of you. When he returned with the army and conquered Mecca and took over, he became the economic leader, the political leader, the social leader, the military leader. He was like today, any Islamic country or any dictatorship country, the leader is in charge of all activities in the country. Look at North Korea, Venezuela, Cuba. Anyway, one more thing. Now, last Christmas, that's very strange. They allowed stores, merchant, and malls and shopping big chains to sell Christmas tree. To a Buddhist, Hindu person, or Christian, or whatever, or an atheist, so what? Big deal. No, for Saudi Arabia, because when you know that Muhammad taught in the Quran that you shouldn't even greet a Christian or a Jewish person if you meet him on the street, you shouldn't greet him. You shouldn't wish him happiness on his feast, on his celebration. You shouldn't. So from not even greeting your neighbor if he was Christian or Jewish, to allowing people now to buy Christmas tree and exhibit it in their homes. And if they are selling it, it means people are buying it. And most likely many of these people have converted to Christianity. Otherwise, why would you carry a Christmas tree if you don't believe in Christmas? Something to reflect about. So to let it open for people to buy Christmas tree, and the religious authority cannot say a word, this is a big thing. Lastly, although I don't, anyway, allowing religious freedom in a way a little bit, but I don't like what happened. there is a new group called, if I translate it, جماعة التبليغ والدعوة, like to give testimony about how good Islam is and invite Muslim back to the true way of Islam. And that is a new group, and I cannot say it's a violent one. However, if we go back to in the 70s in Egypt, in the last century, 1970s, there were many groups like, well, Muslim Brotherhood is way before that. It was, I think, 1921 or 22, something like that. But in the 70s, there was a group that suddenly came about, and they were, when they started, they were also peaceful, loving, and testifying to Islam, and soon they became very, very violent, and they actually murdered people. So that could be one. I mean, it was, look at when Muhammad started in Mecca, he was peaceful and loving and trying to establish his own religion, and in 13 years about 100 people followed him or accepted him as a prophet. 100 people, actually less than 100 people in 13 years is not a whole lot of people, because he was not using a sword, he was not using force, he was not and when he started to insult the people of Mecca, they kicked him out. When he returned by the sword, they all submitted and became Muslim. So he captured Mecca by force. Meccan people didn't want him. They didn't want that his teaching. He had to they had to submit by force. You see, it was not that they are willingly. They kick him out and they said, we don't want to see you again. And suddenly when he returned with an army, they said, oh, your religion, that is a most wonderful religion in the whole world. Come, it's beautiful. Let's become all become Muslim. No, it wasn't like that. They were forced. Okay, so now some small groups are starting here and there as religious freedom, which I really honestly feel, if you want to believe in Islam, if you want to follow this group, go ahead, that's your business. Okay, but it should not be with the sword, using force to convert people and say, oh, look, all of them became Muslims. So when you give them the freedom now in Saudi Arabia, when the country started to open up, they buy Christmas trees, which they are yearning to Christianity. It means probably their ancestors told them generation after generation, originally we are Christian. We had to become Muslim. So when it became open, they reverted to their original religion, whether it was Judaism or Christianity or whatever. So that is, although I don't necessarily agree with how they used force, not force also, I'm sorry, they didn't use force, but they told, the word went out from the authority to all preachers, Muslim preachers in all mosques, to warn the people, to warn the Muslim public of this group that it's no good. And of course, these people, they just follow. If the word comes from the government that these people are very good, they will actually justify it and say they are very good. But the Sultan said they are bad, so the religious authority has to confirm and conform. Okay, that takes us to Mecca, and the return of Mecca. Mecca, before the coming of Muhammad, it was a city of diversity, and it was like the hub of business. people coming from east and west, north and south meet in this area. It was in a way like the World Trade Center in New York. It was like New York City. Uh, you go to New York City, for example, you find black people, white people, Asian people. You find Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Hindus, atheist, and everybody is doing his own business or doing his work, and nobody is telling him or her not to do that. And that was Mecca before Muhammad conquered Mecca, before Muhammad invaded Mecca, rather. Until this time, Mecca was an open place in terms of economic, in terms of religious freedom. For example, the Jews and the Christian were there, and they practiced their religion freely. We don't hear that the Jews were having hard time to follow the Ten Commandments of Moses or follow their religion. No. And the same, there were many Christians in Arabia before the invasion of Mecca. In Mecca there were many Christians, many. And also there were people who worshipped idols. Many people used to kiss the black stone that the Muslims are kissing now. They were idol worshipper. At this time they were called the idol worshipper. And there was that black building that you see sometimes, which is called Kaaba, and that was for actually the people who worship idols back then. And there was another 360 statue or idol other than this square cubical box. And other people believed in these stones or these statues, and they used to also go around them and give offering to them. This statue was their god. Another group had that cubical building as their point of faith, and they used to kiss there was a black stone still there until now. They used to kiss that stone, and they say this is a stone from heaven. Of course, I mean, it could have been a meteor or something like that from the sky, and they thought it's a holy stone. Whatever. Anyway, they used to kiss it before the coming of Muhammad, and they continue to kiss it until now that it's a holy rock. Okay, good for you. You want to believe in it, you want to believe in the black stone, and you want to kiss it, go ahead. You want different colors, go ahead. Green stone, yellow stone. No, yellow stone, that's in America. I'm sorry, the yellow, yeah, that's different. I mean, whatever color, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. Okay, so now with the trend that is taking place today, I can see normally actually like things happen opposite way. Like for example, after World War II, we know that Britain started to kind of like recede and leave the colonies because it was costing Britain so much, and they couldn't keep that control anymore, so they let go of their colonies, whether it was Egypt, India, or what have you. Same with France, and so and even America now leaving Afghanistan and talking about leaving Iraq, and kind of like it's costing us so much, so let's gather our arm together because it's heavy, it gets difficult, so they are coming back. It's not that I agree on the way that this let's go Brandon left Afghanistan, no, but yeah, America shouldn't be involved in other people's business. Okay, it costs lives, it costs money. So that's how it normally is. You pull back. But in Islam, I was expecting that Islam will start shrink from outside, getting in. That means the money that it's invested in Europe, in America, in Australia to propagate for Islam will kind of like start to shrink and come back to the center, which is Mecca. But actually, the opposite is happening. Mecca is returning to as it was before the coming of Muhammad, becoming free again. So it's a hopeful sign. We don't know where it will take us, but I thought this is a very interesting situation. I have to share it with you, and I'm going to put the links. They are all in Arabic. You can translate them, but it shows you the trend and what's happening. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you.